Welcome to week 4 of this From the Ground Up series that I've been doing. For anyone who's new here, I am on a mission to rewire our food system to create a future where we can produce, purchase, support good quality sustainable food. I'm starting with building the infrastructure for that. I'm currently building a platform to be able to connect merchants together and be able to sell and obtain economies of scale whilst keeping all of the advantages of small local sustainable food. I've got 3 main projects. I've got the farm, which we currently run cattle and poultry. We were originally aiming to get to 1,000 hens. I think we'll probably get to 650 and then do breeders on top of that. But 650 laying hens. And then we've got a herd of miniature Aberdeen Angus, Australian lowlines of cattle, who is a beef herd, and we're trying to increase the size of that herd into a meat herd now, which it was predominantly a pedigree herd. We're now trying to take that the next step and move it into a meat herd. Secondly, I'm trying to develop a social media presence, platform, whatever. Most success currently has been on TikTok and running a Come Collect Eggs With Me series. That's got the most traction, and trying to figure out how we evolve that coming up. And then the last is building this platform and the tech and the writing of that software. So if we jump into the farming side of things, it's been a busy week getting ready. I'm actually going away skiing this weekend, so I'm filming this ahead of time and trying to get the farm into a position that it is easily manageable by mum and dad has been hard work. I've split the hens in L2. I've taken 30 or so out of there just to try and alleviate the pressure within that house. Taken the light Sussex and the Leghorns out, although I was in this morning and I've managed to miss light Sussex and Leghorns, who must have been hiding in the nest boxes when I was collecting them last night. Mum's actually been away, so I've been looking after everybody, and it's been going pretty well. I'm just absolutely knackered now. I haven't had much time to do much else apart from looking after the animals, but been enjoying it. The calves still are the cutest things in the world. I'm really pleased with the work we did last weekend on the hedges. That looks really good. We've now got to do probably got another 300 metres to do, and I've done 60 maybe, and that took 2 days. So we've got a long way to go, but I'm really enjoying it, and I'll get better as we go as well. Dad laid the hedge probably 20 years ago, and I helped him then. But I'm excited to lead the way this time. We've got a sick cow. I caught it today. The batteries with the no fence collars. We run no fence collars on all of the herd, and what no fence collars are is basically it's a collar on a chain that hangs around their neck, and it runs off GPS, and it uses audio signals to let the cow know when they're getting to the edge of a fence. If it crosses over that line, it sends an electrical pulse. And the cattle learn that quickly, and they hear the audio and turn around and come back, which allows us to graze areas that we wouldn't be able to graze before, and also be able to just track our herd. I was replacing batteries for those today, and I was putting them through the crush. As I was doing so, one of them laid down and refused to move. So she is out there at the moment. I'm pretty worried about her. If I didn't know better, it would look like she was in labour. The two front runners are that she's either aborting her calf or she's got bloat. It doesn't look like bloat. I can't see many symptoms of bloat, but she is currently maximum 8 months pregnant, because her calf is 8 months old, and it takes them a season or so to come back in. So it cannot be due. So we'll see what transpires in the next couple of days on that. Unfortunately, I am away, so that is going to be a mum and dad problem, which is sod's law. We are still in lockdown with the poultry. Have been in lockdown since, November? A long time ago now. I can't see us coming out of lockdown before March. To be honest with you, I can see it running all the way through to June. And I'm struggling to see the future of the industry, to be honest with you, of free-range poultry. I certainly don't feel like a free-range chicken farm at the moment. They spend their entire time inside, which is effectively barn-raised hens, and I don't enjoy it. They don't enjoy it. It's not what I signed up to be. So I'm struggling in my darker times. I'm struggling to see the future of poultry if we aren't going to be able to get rid of this disease. And more importantly, to humans anyway, there's a real risk of this mutating into a human-borne disease. Yeah, it's not the vibes I was looking for, to be honest with you. What we're in lockdown for, if I'm not aware, we've got something called avian flu across the country, and it's across the globe actually. The current strain is H5N1. and it is mutated a few times over the last few years. The latest has been found in cattle in America, and it's often found in mammals like seals and things like that across the UK. The wild population of birds carries it and transports it around the country. And we've gone into lockdown the same way we went into lockdown as humans with COVID. It's just to avoid the spread of disease, or reduce the spread of disease. Still, every couple of days we get 2 more farms going down with it. I don't even monitor every day the wild population, but I do monitor the farming, and there's every 2 days we get 2 new farms, which is daunting. That being said, the chickens are laying well. We're almost on 200 eggs a day. The L2 is up to 135 eggs a day. L1 65 maybe. So we're running at 190 eggs average probably. Although with stats like that, we do sometimes nibble into that 200. With that being said, we've got lots of small eggs left over. Whilst I'm not running the TikTok and social media, I haven't been able to push those online orders, which I was thinking of doing, and so we're donating them to charity at the moment, the same charity that we work with to get the fruit and veg that we give to the cows. So that works well, and be able to give a little bit back there is also good, and something I want to do more and more of as we get going. Which moves us on to socials. Nothing particularly new there. I haven't really done much planning, haven't put much thought into it, to be completely honest with you all. I have stopped giving the chickens corn because whilst they're locked away, I just find it puts them into a frenzy, and so I'm not sure how I'm going to tell the fans that there is no corn tax at the moment. So we'll see how that goes. There's also a conspiracy, and in chat there's often a conspiracy that I am bored with the corn tax and the corn tax song, which isn't the case, although some days I do sound very bored, and I do know that. But it's just because some days I am just bored of all of the things that have gone on that day. It's not the corn tax. I love the corn tax. I do feel like a little bit of a mug sometimes, but actually I'm way past that now, so we're all good. However, there isn't going to be a corn tax, so I need to figure out what I'm going to replace the corn tax with to appease the masses. Now, moving on to the platform, I have got a live demo, and I've also got the API live as well. Both are pretty far away from being able to be usable yet, but they are living on the interweb, and so that's very exciting. It's big news for me. It's been a long time coming. Now I've just got to keep pushing, get it to a place that I can use it. I'm hoping to do it by the beginning of February. Rapidly running out of days. Today is the 23rd. This will come out on the 25th. I'm almost there with everything that I need. It's things like it's the finishing touches that are going to really take some time. Like as mentioned last week, finishing off terms and services, finishing off the shop UIs and making them customizable where necessary. I've got a long way to go. I'm trying to apply to get to Groundswell. I got the application back yesterday or 2 days ago, and it is expensive. It's not, in the grand scheme of things, it's not more expensive than maybe perhaps I thought it would be, but it's 4 figures, and it's 4 more figures than I have in my bank account. I'm trying to think whether that's going to be worthwhile raising the capital for that and the investment. I'm definitely going to go to Groundswell this year. I think it's an important place to be. So that is in July. I haven't got masses of time to go before getting the platform into a position that I could ship it and sell it and give people proper experiences in that time. Doing this sort of stuff is quite daunting. You start hitting the real world of business. Like for example, Groundswell needs £2.5 million in insurance coverage per merchant, which I actually don't know what that would cost. I know we run a similar thing in the holding company that we run here at home, so it shouldn't be impossible, but there's going to be a few £100 worth of insurance for sure. But yeah, I'm trying to keep going. It's one of those things that if I invest time now and then be there and do it, I'll really enjoy it. I was going to do a panel there, but I'm not quite confident enough there, and my big problem is I'm not articulate enough yet. I couldn't sit here and tell you, which is the biggest problem I've got, exactly what I believe and what the platform does, for example, and how it solves those problems, just purely because all of the things that I've got written down and I've learned and studied across the time, I just cannot bring them to the forefront of my lips when I talk about it at the moment. That is just practice. I know it's just practice. I had it when I was working at my previous company. I was useless in my previous company, but I got a lot better. So I do know it's practice. It's something that I worry about a lot. My recall is my weakest part of my intelligence, and it often makes me feel dumb and probably makes me sound a little dumb as well, which is fine because I normally get quite good results just getting shit done, but I will struggle when it comes to pitching, selling, if I just sound a bit dumb. But that's why I do things like this, so that you guys know that hopefully as over the weeks, months, years, we realise that I do kind of know what I'm doing sometimes, or I will, or I'll learn. I mean well. I wanted to sort of talk through the reasons why I'm doing this, and I've talked about a few of them in the past, but I really wanted to pause to acknowledge what they are so that we can deepen them as we go through the conversations. They have evolved. So when I first started this project, it was all about climate. It was all about how do we create sustainable food? How do we build a diet and take the onus of the individual back onto the company for them to be responsible for creating sustainable food? It has evolved, and I think, interestingly, as a geopolitical space, our position on climate has evolved. It feels like it's taken a step back and everyone's like, fuck, we're going to go into a world war, so let's screw the climate. That's me being cynical. However, we are definitely like, oh, by the way, there's a new world order now. You know, we just had the Canadian president come out and say, you know, the old world order is dead. And there's a lot of narrative from political commentators around how, you know, the security that we had after the Second World War and this belief in the alliances, etc., is all diminishing. That is taking away from our goal, which was, hey, by the way, should we probably save the Earth before it destroys the least fortunate on it? That's always the most extreme. But actually, what I've come to be more of a driver for me, and it's similar to listening to Zach Polanski talk about the Green Party. I actually voted for the Green Party the last time we had a general election. It was a throwaway vote then. It's becoming less of a throwaway vote now. I don't believe with their extreme left policies. However, I fundamentally believe that we should be pulling in those kind of conversations. There's a lot of conversations where actually the more left-leaning you are, the weaker as a populace you become, and we are seeing that on a world stage. You look at America, look at Russia. This socialist mindset, which is we should probably let people be, we should support those who make positive change, and we should lift up those that are having a positive impact. What happens is you try and get everyone's opinion, you try and get make sure we're looking after everybody, and ultimately end up looking after no one. Whereas the right leaning all the way through to the extreme right, they have this burning desire and goal to do something, and they achieve it at the cost of others. And so I personally find myself sitting quite central in the political spectrum, probably left-leaning these days, although I do definitely pendulum depending on the extremities of what's going on in the world. But as we've gone through that, what I'm learning is actually that combined with the much faster uptake of LLMs and artificial intelligence, and I often mention LLMs. What LLM means is large language model, and what LLMs are, and often we talk about AI and these agents being AI, but the LLMs is actually just a predictor. It guesses what the next few words are going to be based off of everything it's read. And if you're trying to teach it what a bicycle looks like, you give it hundreds of thousands of pictures of a bicycle and you say, look, all of these are bicycles. If you were then to start drawing a circle, it then goes, right, that circle's got spokes through it, and it's got a brake on the top, and it's got a mud guard, and it's attached to handlebars. That is what it's doing, but it's doing it with words. That's why it's called a large language model. And so it sounds very intelligent, and actually it does. And for coding, it's phenomenal. Now, I digress here into LLMs, and I will talk about it more at length in the future, but what that leap in advancements in LLMs and AI, and soon to be AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, which is a step beyond artificial narrow intelligence, which is what we've got today. It's what the LLMs allows us to do, which is to do one task very well. AGI does lots of tasks very well at the same time. That combined with the changing geopolitical position, the sort of loss of humanity is how I view it. Now, not loss of humanity as in like humans are dying, which they are in the hundreds of thousands, but more loss of like, what's our purpose? What are we here to do? And so I see this as a real opportunity as we start, as capitalism, and I am probably a capitalist, but as I see capitalism as it is today, which is consume, I see us needing to move to produce, provide, support, collaborate and consume, but working together as a community, and the value and the enrichment we get from that is really important. We are very divided at the moment. We are super connected, and therefore we are super divided because we can see everything, we hear everything, and rather than that bringing us together, which is what I believed as a kid, it's actually divided us, because we now have these microcosms of beliefs and opinions and these echo chambers that then divide us. So what I see is, if we can build these communities and we can get people working back together again, you build these hubs. And there's a great book by an economist called Ernest Schumacher, and he's written a book called Small is Beautiful, and the idea being that sort of the tribal approach to how we work, and doing things on a much smaller scale and building them up and allowing people to collaborate on that small scale, you can really get a lot more personalisation in there. Whereas the mass globalisation we've seen on brands and products has ultimately has led to the demise of culture and meaning and beliefs and support and purpose. Combine that with AI, we are ripping out the purpose of a human. Now, something that I battle with is, can you keep a purpose without jobs? That is what we're barreling towards with the development of artificial intelligence in whatever form it comes. Some people don't think we're going to get there in LLMs, but others think that we will. Either way, 2 to 5 to 10 years, we're going to get artificial intelligence much superior than us at every job that we do. So this actually has become a bit more of a North Star for me now, which is driving connectivity than the climate stuff. The third thing that drives me, which combines the two of those things, is food security. And the idea being a plug being pulled and the dominoes fall down, because we now rely on monocultures, but also industrialised pipelines of food and structure. So if we pull the plug on those, it all comes falling down. What building local communities and local hubs can do is it can build pockets of food security across the country which then can disperse and support the entire country and export to the world as well. But it builds up a structure of food security based on seasonal food and locality. I might be way off with all this stuff, but this is now my life's work. This is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life, is trying to figure this out, or until I can see that there is no possible advantage to this. In which case I will return to being a farmer and I will disappear and let the world be the world. I'm very fortunate to own land through my family, and so I have that security. Not many people will, and so that is what I'm trying to install in as many people as we can, is get them that security based on the insecurity and the uncertainty of the next 5 years. I spend a lot of time thinking about this sort of stuff. I listen to podcasts on it. I try not to get demoralised. And it's a real roller coaster, I promise you. But for the most part, I'm optimistic. And I think that's just because I've given myself purpose doing this. I imagine future me will edit most of that out. But we'll see. This is 26 minutes long, so I'd imagine he's probably edited most of that out. I shall see you next week.